Hello everybody, happy Sunday. Hope your weekend is going scrumptiously. Isn't that a great word? Scrumptious. I love it. I told you yesterday that I was going to do a video on voting machines and whatnot, because with the way gerrymandering and stuff's going, I don't think it's the gerrymandering so much that we have to worry about as the voting machines themselves and who is running them. So, without any further ado, if you are new to this channel, welcome. Love me, like me, share me. Down below. Wait a minute, that didn't sound so great. But anyway, in the little like and share and ring-a-ling the dingling, and subscribe to the channel. You're already here. I don't have any sponsors. It's just me and my lonesome, just me. So anyway, please subscribe to my channel. Hangers on, ooh la la. I love it when you come to my channel and you leave some of the most amazing comments. I just love it. I love, love, love. Hat's a little crooked. Oh well, small problem, big world, but it is hotter than hell out here today. It's 30, 60, it's about 90 degrees, and it is so muggy, so muggy. And I have two young fellas with no shirts on behind my house, and they are building me a deck. But I'll stay inside where it's a little cooler. We don't have air conditioning, so we have a fan and we have a ceiling fan, so that suffices upstairs. Downstairs, my husband's down there with a hoodie on because it's really cool down there. But anyway, I digress. Let's get into this voting stuff, shall we? I was watching Shrinking Trump, like I told you, with John Gartner and Harry Siegel. They're licensed clinical psychologists, and they had this little thing on these voting machines and this voting company. So, Republican-controlled software company ES&S, their senior vice president is Kathy Rogers. Now, you may have heard of that name before because Kathy Rogers worked as a Georgia state elections official. You know, where racketeering cases going on still. A couple more people pled guilty. But anyway, for some reason, she's opposed to legislation that would ensure vote counts could be verified. I wonder why that is. In 2019, the New Yorker's headline was How Voting Machine Lobbyists Undermine the Democratic Process. As far back as 2006, a bill requiring a verifiable paper record of each ballot was introduced to the Georgia legislature at the urging of elections integrity advocates. It failed after none other than Miss Kathy Rogers, the state elections official director, opposed it. The New Yorker reported. So to me, this company is shady AF. It's Sunday. I'll say something later in the video. First off, it is owned by a private equity firm, and ES&S is being just a little bit secretive, and I don't know. But anyway, they're being a little secretive about who owns the company. My guess is, I don't know, is it Ivanka Trump with her Trump voting machines? She got a secret little hand in there? Just ask him. A bunch of the executives and lobbyists, however, have giant ties to top GOP election officials, like Kathy Roberts. That's how she got in. And I imagine Cleta Mitchell, that witch. Oh my God, I've done a video on her before. She's pure evil. She was one of the ones on the phone when Trump was trying to get Georgia to, come on, fellas, give me a break. I only need 11,870 votes. Give me a break. And now it's, come on, Greg, give me a break. All I need is 5 more districts that I can win and get seats from in Texas. So gerrymander the shit out of that. I just need 5 seats, that's all. So, imagine if Greg could jump. He'd say how high. well, or how far, I guess, whatever. But anyway, I imagine Cleta Mitchell is playing a huge role in this ES&S somewhere. The executive in charge of the security of ES&S worked as Trump's season 1. But, like most Trump picks, he left under a cloud of shit. And I can't figure out who he is or what cloud he left under. But I'm going to keep digging. But he worked at Health and Human Services. Again, Trump only picks the very best people in positions that are in charge of your health and safety. Oddly enough, 40 of the 50 states use ES&S to cast their votes and count some of those votes. Out of the 25 states Trump won, all but 3 either partially or fully relied on ES&S. And I, for some reason, cannot get Elon's words out of my mouth. When he was doing that Tucker Carlson interview and he said, if Kamala Harris wins, I'm going to prison for a very long time. And he looked genuinely scared shitless. When he started saying, I don't know when I'm going to see my kids again, like it was a done deal. But these voting machines might have something to do with it. So the Globe and Mail, Canadian newspaper, Access Newswire, June 26, 2025, the headline was Voting Machine Details Requested in Lawsuit Challenging the 2024 Election. Now, SMART, all capitals, legislation is the lead plaintiff, and they're questioning the accuracy of the 2024 presidential and Senate elections in Rockland County, New York. Now, there are 5 towns in Rockland, 18 incorporated villages, 8 hamlets, and 11 defunct communities, whatever in the hell that is. Almost a third of the county is parkland, and it has the highest Jewish population in any U.S. county, 31.4%, or a population of just over 90,000 residents, and it is ranked 80th in the list of highest income counties by median household income. Now, the reason I mention the Jewish population in Rockland County is because of how a lot of the Jewish Hasidic communities block vote. Now, block voting is where voters choose candidates based on the recommendations of the leader. And we know they're very private communities. This could be one possible explanation for the 0 vote for Kamala Harris in Rockland County. Local Rockland County reporting says there are many times that the Hasidic communities did not block vote. It's unpredictable, complicated by the fragmentation of votes among multiple Hasidic and Orthodox voting groups, particularly in Rockland. Yossi Gestetner is a co-founder of the Orthodox Jewish Public Affairs Council, says thousands of other Hasidic and Orthodox voters in Rockland have varying degrees of fealty to the political endorsements of the community leaders. So, do we include that or don't we? Guess we'll never know. But the lawsuit wants a full hand recount of the 2024 election in Rockland County. More voters swore that they voted for an independent U.S. Senate candidate, Diane Sayre, for example, than the Rockland County Board of Elections verified, which contradicts the results just a bit. Many more people came forward to say they voted for Kamala, yet there was 0 votes counted in Rockland County for Kamala Harris. 0. In all those 18 village hamlets and 5 cities, towns, whatever, not 1 vote for Kamala Harris. So, Lulu Friesdat, she's the founder and executive director of Smart Legislation, says that is why we have requested it, and so far the judge seems to agree. One of the main concerns is at this point is whether the chain of custody of ballots and the equipment has been robust enough to for the public to have confidence in paper ballots. Okay, so we got that. So back to ES&S investigations. So SMART legislation is the action arm of the nonpartisan, nonprofit SMART elections. Both are dedicated to having fair and accurate elections. That's why they want to go in and do a hand count now. But there's a little push and tug there from the other side. They are looking into security protocols, rules for password creations, chain of custody procedures, lists of workers, and their financial interactions, such as vendor contracts, who they hiring, and communications with voting machine manufacturing. Now, I wonder if Miss Ivanka, they were using the Trump voting machines that she got those patents for. Remember from China when her dad was in the first season there? She got patents for Trump voting machines. So I wonder if they're using any of the software or firmware from there. Inquiring minds want to know. So did she sneak any of that stuff in there and she's just in the background? So yeah, they such as vendor contracts, communications with voting machine manufacturers, including election systems and software, ES&S, and the testing labs, Pro V&V. They're the guys that did the testing, which I think are also, they're not nonpartisan, I don't think. There are inquiries into Starlink. There are questions brought up about their modems, Wi-Fi, and cell connections to Rockland's election system, and whether or not they were using Starlink direct to cell or another company called Bulletproof, and if there were any irregularities in the 2024 election, did they get reported? That's what they're trying to figure out. Did they report any irregularities? They just go, oh, who cares, right? Look like Democrat votes for me, just chuck them. For anybody new to this channel, you should know that I do add my own commentary from time to time. So, in my opinion, allegedly. In February 2025, Smart Elections published it, and it's on their Substack, showing that there were updates on ES&S software to some of its systems affecting the circumstances under which an error message is generated about the voting machine software. So, did they make sure that it wouldn't give out error messages when something happened? And they just merrily went along with it? I don't know, am I getting too conspiratorial here? June 10th, 2025, Smart Elections published more research on its Substack, and it included a chart of all software and firmware updates to the ES&S voting systems that took place in 2024. It showed ES&S software verification was updated twice in 2024, and both updates were labeled de minimis, which translates into no testing required. A technical advisor was consulted, and he disagreed with the lab at Pro V&V and their finding of verification software updates. The other advisor said this is a major change and should require closer inspection as to what changes happened, because it affects the cryptography keys and identity assurance of the device. So if they're going, no need to check that. No need. That's like no pictures, that type of thing. Yeah. So the next court date is September 22nd at 9:30 a.m. For a compliance hearing. So ES&S has to step up and turn up at this hearing. It's going to be at the Rockland County Courthouse in New City, New York at 9:30 a.m. September 22nd. So I don't know if the public can go to that, but if you're able to, I would be interested, if I were you, to go check that out. So anyway, that's my little thing on voting. And Bulletproof is a company that has voting machines to make voting faster, smarter, and more secure. I also got information from elections.newyork.gov, testing and review, and Times Herald record, Chris McKenna. Acidic voting blocks may play a key role in 2 Hudson Valley congressional races, which will be coming up in 2026. So they want to dig into some of that too, because that's why I'm bringing this out now, because of all the gerrymandering that's going on. And I think that some of that stuff needs to be looked at now, before people start setting up their voting machines and tabulation equipment, so we don't get stuff that happened in 2020 with all these recounts and ninja friggin' recounts and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's why I'm bringing it up now. But anyway, Nyan loves you. Be good, be safe. Please take care of you first so you can take care of somebody else. I love you so much. Hangers on. Love me, like me, share me, and don't forget to subscribe. And is Miss Vivi. Wait, I turned it the wrong. There she is. Viv, look at mommy. Switch. Yeah, look at mommy. Ooh, geez, that camera's there. She's camera shy today. Anyway, I love you all. Take care. Have a safe rest of your weekend. Days are flying by, aren't they? I love you all.